No black cats, just straight facts.
Triple P certified.
Listen, we can talk about odds all day. It doesn't matter what the odds are. It matters what's gonna happen.
What up, chat? Welcome to the stream. It's the Birthplay Pursuit. We're here, as always, to predict the upcoming UFC card, all the outcomes. But we're going to do things a little different this week. So this is going to be the recap show. The show is always evolving, mutating, growing new legs, new limbs. This show now is a trilogy show, okay? So we're going to be doing, if you like the show, you're welcome. Now you are getting a trilogy. Every week, it's a trilogy. So we start the show with the recap. This is the first episode. So episode 1 is here, right? Now, you can watch them in any order you want. That's the beauty of it.
It's a choose your own adventure.
Choose your own adventure. It's kind of like you can mix and match. It'll all make sense no matter which order you watch them in. It'll give you a different story. So you can watch them front to back and then go middle, back end, and then go reverse order. You can do it any way you want. But here's the reality. This will be only recap talk. So for those of you who hate all the mindless chatter, hate all of me just going on and on and on, you can go right to the predictions episode. We're going to tighten that up. The main card prediction episode is going to be super tight. It's going to be only fight talk, no drama, no gossip. We're going to talk all of the drama from the last week's card here. Then we're going to talk little teasers about, like, you know, when Alex will say, like, oh, did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? And I'll be like, save it for the episode 3. So basically, recent past will happen here on the show, but then future stuff will happen in episode. Just sit back, watch, enjoy. This is going to be a great show. It's going to be a new thing, switching things up a little bit. So we're going to recap UFC Mexico. Brian Ortega versus Yair Rodriguez and Brandon Moreno versus Brandon Royval. We're going to recap the whole card. It was a wacky and wild one. There's a lot of controversy. There's a lot to talk about. We'll tell you how we did betting. I lost so much money. I'm going to tell you all about it. Alex, Dan, they're both here. Kind of a sleepy weekend. Didn't hear too much from them in the Discord. Eager to hear what they did.
I was in the Discord the entire fight.
It was me who was kind of falling asleep. All right. So anyway, let's talk. Alex, how you doing, man? How you doing, Alex?
I'm good. I managed to pull it together. The bets weren't hitting as well as we thought they might, but was able to pull it all together with a Royval decision win at the end, plus $750 to win $400. That made me a little bit over even, so I'm happy with how the weekend went through a whole how many hours? 12 hours of fights. I mean, I think they started at 12 o'clock with the Bellator, and I was ass out too for a little bit. I was in deep trouble, but Brandon Royval saved the day. I said I've been wrong all day. I'm going to be wrong again on this Moreno pick. I'm switching to Royval. I'm taking Royval by decision.
And it's interesting because you said, oh, I'm going to Royval. Some people might be watching going, but Brandon Moreno is Triple B certified. He was. Alex told you right there. He bet against himself, against his own thinking, you know, he's probably drunk. He was like, I'm going to be wrong.
Well, no, I saw how the judging was playing out all night. The judging had a lot of controversy. I agreed with some of the decisions, but a lot of them were a little shaky.
Well, what I was going to say is it doesn't really matter that you picked Moreno on the show and changed your mind minutes before the fight, because you did let the people know in your open bets sheet that you were taking Royval by decision. So that pick was given. If you go to the Patreon, you can actually get access to the sheet. It's a Google sheet. It has 4 tabs, one with all of our picks, one with Alex's picks, one with Dan's picks, one with my picks. And within those tabs are the bets that we're actually placing, the public bets, the bets that we're letting you know we're placing on the card. We update them live. If I'm out in the wild, I place a live bet, I might not be able to update the sheet live. But if I'm home, like I am 99% of the time, locked and loaded on the couch, I put every bet that I'm making live right there inside of the open bet sheet. So I do my best. I do my fucking best. Okay, there's no guarantees. It's just for fun. Okay, entertainment purposes only. But that being said, there's a lot of value in the sheet. Alex put a perfect parlay in the sheet not 2 months ago. So let's go. Tell me more, Alex. So I'm gonna just kind of start at the bottom here. It was Naimov, threw that cool kick against Silva and caused Silva to have a leg injury. But I think that, Naimov was kind of there to do that, whether his leg gave out or not. You know what I mean? I'm not sitting here saying rematch or anything like that. It's like move on with Naimov to bigger and better things. He's very elite. I want to see him in more pick'em style fights. I want to see people underestimating him, put him in against some guys that we know that are good. so that we can see how good this guy is. He could be our next kind of like Ilya Taporia guy. I'm not saying he's going to win a title or anything, but I think that he could be a dark horse in the division and slowly rise up the ranks with 4 or 5 good wins, you know? I want to see good odds on him, though. I don't want to be betting him at minus 500.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I mean, he did what he was supposed to do. Leg injury, you're too fragile. You're too fragile. I don't care when that type of stuff happens. If it happens to you in the cage, you were not good enough that night to keep your leg intact.
So, anything else on that one? Or I would love to talk about Victor Altamirano versus Dos Santos.
No, that's all for me from Nymov. There wasn't really much to break down there. It was a whole 44 seconds.
All right, so this fight, like we all picked Dos Santos on the show, but again, like I'm watching the fight live and I'm seeing the first round play out, and I'm noticing that like Dos Santos isn't going to be able to knock this guy out and has a massive hole in his game that Altamirano is exploiting. So I see he's still an underdog. I throw a little bit of money live on Altamirano and lose it in what I perceive to be a robbery. And the worst is that like it was against my own pick, so I couldn't even really feel bad about it. It was kind of like a hedge play. I was like, let me hedge what I'm going to lose on the Dos Santos bets. But then the Dos Santos bets go forward, and it's like, okay, now I just lost, some money on Altamirano. I was like, that felt really dumb. It felt really dumb for me to go against my own pick like that. But when I saw what I saw.
So I actually didn't end up seeing this fight, but Alex, what would you say about? I mean, I didn't hear anything about a controversial split on this one.
Yeah, so there were a lot of controversial splits on the night. This one, I thought Altamirano won when I watched the fight the first time. But when you look at the scoring criteria and how they based most things on damage, like Altamirano got a lot of takedowns, but he didn't do anything with it. He didn't threaten any positions. He never got close with any submissions. He never really rained down any ground and pound or anything like that. So I felt like a bulk of the damage was coming from Dos Santos. And when he was getting taken down, he was commonly getting right back up. I mean, that's how you get 8 takedowns in a 3-round fight. So that one I wasn't too upset with, but I definitely thought I lost going into the decision. But that kind of set the tone for how the judging was going to be for the rest of the night.
So then the next fight, you got Claudio Puelles for Aziam. I mean, the story of the night to me were...
Well, for one, Dennis Bonder, you don't skip over the coward.
Oh, yeah.
Tapping out with 1 second left in the round.
Yeah, so the story to me were bad decisions and cowardly moves. So, like, Dennis Bonder, I have nothing to say but cut him.
Caught him. Did you see that, Dan?
I'll say one more thing. He went for a fucking leg lock. When he could have gotten on top. He escaped. He could have came out on top. He fucking drops back down to his ass and gives up position to go for submission. Guys, I don't care who you are. If you go for position over submission, you deserve to lose. So, wait, what did I say? Did I say it wrong?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, you don't deserve to lose, but it's like you are sowing your own poison when you go for submission over position, especially when it's like, I mean, there's no more, it's a clear-cut example of like what not to do. Like, maybe you try to take somebody's back. Maybe you even go for a triangle. But to go for a fucking leg in today's modern MMA?
I mean, you would think a lot of fighters change their game plans around based on the decisions earlier in the fight in terms of like how things were going on the ground and stuff. Like, I wouldn't even say getting a position was a good idea for him in this fight. I think Bonder was kind of controlling the exchanges on the feet, and he really found trouble when he got himself on the ground. He's a little frail. He's a little weak. He was getting muscled around out there, and I don't even think Ronaldo Rodriguez is that good. I just don't think either of these guys are very good whatsoever. I don't think Rodriguez is going to be a world beater in the future. I just think it just shows how bad Dennis Bonder is.
For Aziam, Claudio Puelles, cut Dennis Bonder, cut Dennis Bonder, yeah, so far. And then, cut Puelles too, man. It's like, I thought Puelles won that fight. I did too. I picked Ziam on the show. Dan picked Ziam, Alex picked Puelles. I thought Puelles won the fight, but the metrics, I mean, 4 punches, like, I thought he won the fight based on just the round and the amount of control time he had when he had it. That's kind of what I thought. But when I looked at it at the end, I was like, wait, he landed 4 punches to 40, and he had about just as much ground control time because he would get ground control time and then fucking sacrifice it. So when you're watching these fights, it's like these guys can't help themselves, man. Like they want to play a different game than everyone else is playing. It's almost like they have other people saying, hey, don't worry about what the UFC's rules are. Once you get back here, then we'll tell you what the real score was. It's like, no. It's like they're playing Little League T-ball where the coaches say every game ends in a tie. It's like, bro, do you know that you're losing? And like you're losing because of your decisions. You're losing because you're not getting good positions. You're sacrificing positions. You're not using your strengths. You're making boneheaded moves. It's like for him to be the ground expert, if you're coming in as a ground expert, you need to be able to beat the Frenchman on the ground. You know what I mean? The French striker, the French kickboxer. You need to be able to beat him on the ground and not let him reverse you, get dominant positions on the ground with you. It needs to be really, really dominating in the area that is your strength and supposedly his weakness, or you get cut. So cut Claudio Puelles.
That one was confusing because I felt like the first round Puelles control, although he got sat down with a punch, like he had 4 minutes of control, and that happened in the middle of the round, and Puelles was able to pull it together. Put Ziam in some dangerous positions on the ground in that round and was looking like he was laying some good ground and pound. That was the difference between those two fights. I felt like when Puelles got Ziam to the ground, he was actually doing stuff with it, where Alta Moreno, on the other hand, wasn't. I thought they both won the fight on my scorecards, but after that first decision, after this decision, this is when I really realized I was like, okay, these judges are doing something.
Well, it's different judges fight to fight. That's the thing.
Well, in that fight, specifically that fight, the guy who gave Felipe Dos Anjos all 3 rounds also gave Ziam all 3 rounds. I think it was like Mike Bell or something, but he gave them both all 3 rounds of that fight when, it's hard to say which round they actually won. It's tough to say.
These guys need to be looked into, man. It's seems like a good old boys club where only a few people do it. And I think we need to make the judges get paid $100,000 a year or something minimum, because everyone talks about how they don't make any money to do it. And it's a very not desirable gig. And you got to do all these other judging gigs before you can get there. I think that's on purpose. I think that they're purposely engineering the governmental structure to have people, because think about it, dude, who are the biggest crooks? Politicians, government employees, right? And it's so that's who's dictating the judging. And then to get to be a judge, you have to go through that swamp. It's okay, so that's a swamp. We've established that. Okay, so you got to get through a swamp to be there. So why don't we just eliminate the swamp, drain the swamp, make it a private company, Judge Corp, and they supply us with the judges. These judges make great money. They have stats. They have audits, and then we make the free market decide, right? Stop with the state control over the fucking athletic commission. No state.
What's old Adelaide Bird up to? He's still judging?
Yeah, all the time.
Not this past weekend, I don't think. I didn't hear her name. I wish she was judging. She's my favorite.
I'd rather have an AI judge, to be honest. I'd rather have an AI judge. I swear to God, I'd rather have an AI judge than a human. So.
Like the PFO?
Yeah, they have an AI judge.
They don't use it. It's just what the AI thinks that this guy won.
Never wrong. So, all right. Lacerda, coward, just as cowardly as Bonder, tapped quicker than Bonder with more. He's Lacerda, man. You're 0-5 in the UFC and you tap. You cut. Not even cut from the UFC. Cut from the sport. Cut from the sport.
They don't need you saying that. It's just gonna happen.
How dare him, dude, with his blonde hair? You know what I mean? With the tattoos, with it all. It's loathsome at this point. It is. And look, we believed in him. We triple certified him.
We triple certified.
I talked you guys into it though. I really didn't think it was possible for somebody to be that bad. I really didn't think it was possible. And he was looking good for a little bit there. He was looking good for a little bit.
He always looks good for a little bit. He's got the McGregor karate.
But anyway, Lacerda, you suck. I was a big fan. I said that you look like McGregor. Now you look like McGregor, but McGregor now. Now you look like McGregor now.
And then we got Mendoza, Jesus Aguilar.
Mendoza, again, his own.
That was the most egregious.
That was pretty egregious. But his own idioticness cost him that fight too. I mean, his own lackadaisicalness cut him as well. I gotta say, it cut him as well. Cut Jesus Aguilar as well. I mean, they're all terrible. They're all so bad. But that fight, that was crazy. Mateus Mendonca cut. I don't know what else to say. He sucks. I mean, these guys have no will to win in there, man. No will to win. They don't care. They're just there to get money. They're just there to get money. They literally do not care about the win or the loss.
There's one guy who
make more money if they win. Yeah, but dude, you guys don't understand. But then for that, they would have to like. You don't understand. No, trust me. They're like scared to
Can
win.
you help me understand?
Some of these guys are like afraid to win. I mean, that Jesus Aguilar, his arms are little T-Rex arms. Like he had a 10-inch reach disadvantage or some shit.
Yeah.
He's a beatable fighter. Mendonca, if you can't beat him, you just should be cut. You know what I mean? You're not going to beat Sugar Sean. All right, so Quinones, Barcelos, again, Quinones. Cut Quinones. Quinones, we give you this old man. You come in there. Quinones has a shitty body, shitty everything. Shitty fight style, shitty body, shitty tattoos, shitty face.
Not the body.
His body is so shitty. Barcelos looks better than him. Honey Barcelos looked better than him. Dude.
That's true. That is a fact. And
hardier.
You're talking about fighters.
He looks like he's a prepubescent teen. He looks like he's got another ounce of muscle in his body. He's got that baby fat, you know?
Yeah, but you got to give credit where it's due. Honey Barcelos, a guy who does want to win, no matter against all odds. He's losing that fight. He goes out there and he gets the finish in the third round. You love to see that.
36 years old too, at 145 or 135. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that stat about champions, the title fights, it really skews people's idea of like.
Well, did you watch the whole video where the guy talks about how if you expand it, it actually is like even worse for the older people?
Oh, really?
Yeah, you watch the video I send you, and then you'll know. But dude, so listen, Torres versus Duncan, right? Torres versus Duncan. Manuel Torres was the only guy to do his damn job that night. The only one. Like he was the only one to come out as a favorite, win dominantly. You know, never even make it look like a contest, right? He just in every position didn't even need to use technique, just threw him to the fucking ground. I loved it. Loved every second of it. I wish I just bet only on Manuel Torres. He was my most he was the pick that at first I had the most confidence in, and then we came here to break it down. And I was like, wait, what the fuck? But then when I saw the B-roll, I was like, yeah, I remember seeing this guy, and that's why I had such a good opinion of him. He's just so fucking he's got power. He
wants to win.
He's got power. Like he's just it. He's got it. Like whatever it is, he's got it. You know.
And he wants to win. He's exciting. He's good everywhere. He's good on the ground. He's good on his feet. Hungry.
He reminds me of young Adesanya.
No, Adesanya.
He's a young Adesanya. Like he's going high. Like he's aiming for the stars. He's not here to play around. He's here to win. You know what I mean?
Tune in for him getting his nails painted and Botox and everything else coming up, allegedly.
I don't think so. But Sam Hughes versus Yasmin.
Luke wants his fighters wearing dresses.
No, I don't. But these two can wear dresses. Yasmin Uruguay and Sam Hughes.
Nice segue.
It's a lady fight. I took Sam Hughes, dog or pass kind of situation. But I'm just saying, like Yasmin Uruguay stinks. Like that, you come in as that big of a favorite, you make it that close. Like you barely try. You put on a boring fight. Like boring fight, not something anybody wants to watch. We wouldn't watch it on its own. They had to tuck it in between a couple of good fights for us to watch it. So, again, next fight. Oh, wow. Again, more cowardly behavior. There must have been something in the air over in Mexico City because a lot of cowardice, right? Quick taps. And then this one, the biggest coward of all. At least Lacerda showed up for his ass whooping after losing 5 times in a row, including to this fucking same guy in the same way. At least Bonder showed up for the ass whooping, right? Raul Rosas Jr. cut him. Coward. Oh, we have our answer now, guys. Young little boys can't fight in the UFC because they get scaled. Cut him. He sucks. I don't want to hear shit. No one defend him. Imagine it was anyone else. Treat it like it's anyone else. You're in the big boys club. He wants to go to high school and be like, oh, I'm in the UFC. Yeah. Now, go to high school now. Tell him, you want the good, you take the bad too. So,
Hey, I love what his opponent said. He broke the Bushido code.
He-
Okay, it goes
I-
above
I would-
anything that we can even
I would never
comprehend.
honor him. I would never honor him with a fight again. I would say the only way you're fighting me is if fucking I have the title and you climb all the way up to it, because I'm never signing the contract with your name on it again. I'm fucking Mexican. My name's Ricky Turquoise. I'm coming down to Mexico to put on a banger, like against a crowd that's in your favor, actually. You know what I mean? Because you're actually from Mexico, and you're gonna fucking do me like this, dude. You're gonna and what he really did was, it's like on that night, it was supposed to be who's the best man. He was, what do they say? He was the better man that night. So that was supposed to be Ricky Turcios' night. And maybe not. Maybe by the time he makes it to the octagon, he fucking wakes up and doesn't feel like, feels like fighting. But it's like, that was supposed to be Ricky Turquoise' night, and he robbed him of it. He robbed history. He's like Sage Northcutt, but worse, because at least Sage Northcutt would have gone out there and probably won without his cornerman, But in at least in Raul Rosas Jr.'s mind, he was not prepared to go out and win, and decided not to go at all, not to even try. Guess what? It's the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Fighting begins when you face adversity. That's when the fight begins. Not when, you're having all these highlight reel finishes walking through guys. No, the fight begins when you face adversity. You face a little adversity, you tuck tail, you ran, you deprived the crowd of a show, you deprived your opponent of a payday, you deprived everybody of everything, you deprived history of a result. Raul Rosas Jr., I don't know if this is a sin you can even atone for.
Tune in to the next episode to see whether Luke switches his pick to Ricky Turquoise.
Of course I won't, because now he's going to... No, I'm saying, I'm giving you a little heads up. I probably won't, because at the end of the day, fucking he gets to fight him when he feels great.
Best case situation, yeah.
Yeah, like, oh wow, like it's not like it's not like he's scared.
But they both know who won that night. They both know who won. They know that Turcios made it to the octagon. Rosas did not.
I hope
Raul Rosas Jr.
That
doesn't know
something. That means something.
I do hope that.
Raul Rosas Jr. knows nothing, dude. He just graduated high school, and I doubt he went to a single class.
But you know what, man? If you're in high school, you're supposed to have more confidence, more bravado. You're supposed to be less of a wimp than me, than Dan. You know what I mean? Like, you're supposed to have more courage.
Piss and vinegar.
Better, But it's like he was more scared at 19. It's like, bro, you're 19, you're invincible. What the fuck? When I was 19, I would have fucking done anything. You think you're invincible when you're 19. So it's like, you can't fucking go. I don't know. It's cowardly. It's cowardly, and it's cheating. What it is it's cheating. You signed a contract. You made the weight. The doctor didn't say that you fucking were sick, so you're not sick. You mentally broke. Or whatever. I don't know what the fuck happened, but all I'm saying is I'm left to make it my own assumptions, because what else can I do? You broke the Bushido code. So, yeah, coward of the year, Raul Rosas Jr. And everyone's going to handle him with kid gloves. Everyone's going to baby him. He's 19 years old. He can fight in a war, but yeah, let's baby him. Just because he's the kid of the UFC, let's baby him. But no, it's like, guys, stop. The media, that'll be the cool thing to do. It'll be to be like, oh, well, God forbid he comes out and says some shit about mental health. Then he'll get fucking $10 million. He should come out and be like, a lot of people don't know about mental health in the UFC. And on that night, I was experiencing some mental health issues. But my new sponsor, Provanicol.
BetterHelp.
My new sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp.
Now I talk to my therapist when I'm on my way out to the octagon.
What'd you say?
Now I talk to my therapist when I'm on my way to the octagon, just so I don't have a mental breakdown before my fights.
Simone Biles comes up and goes, "It's okay to just not do it." You know who I'm talking about, Dan?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Who's Simone Biles, Dan? Who's Simone Biles?
I don't think he is.
She's the Olympic gymnast who didn't have her Adderall. Well, allegedly. And yes, thank you. Need I say more?
Dude, I wouldn't be doing 30 flips on a fucking balance beam if I didn't have Adderall in me at the very least. I would need a lot more than Adderall.
I'd never even heard that. I'd never even heard that was the story.
Oh, yeah. See, you don't even know. You don't even know the story.
No, I thought she said that she was having mental health issues and decided
Yes. But people surmise that whatever country was holding it, I think whatever, they didn't allow for what?
So people are surmising now. Okay.
Yes. Well,
Dan's source.
Hey, when you surmise, you make a sir out of you and mize.
well, you can't spell wise. You can't spell wise without surmise.
That was like joke of the year. All right. Daniel Zaluber, Francisco Prado. Francisco Prado, you absorbed the souls of Mr. Mendoca, Mr. Lacerda, Mr. Zayam, Mr. Puelas, Mr. Bonder.
Mr. Rodriguez.
No, not Mr. Rodriguez.
Yair
Christian
Rodriguez.
Yeah, Christian Quinones and Christian Quinones. You get all their souls. Congratulations. I'm cutting all of them and I'm giving it to you, Prado. You're the Argentinian Drew Dober. You're amazing. I love you. What a great fight. Every reason to quit. Every reason to tell that doctor you saw 3 fingers, not 1. Every reason to fucking go down. You never did. You stood your ground. You fought hard. 1 eye. Fuck you, Chris Curtis. Fuck you, Bilal Muhammad. Shouts out to Michael Bisping. Shouts out to Francisco Prado. You're the man. Daniel Zaluber, also the man. What a beatdown. Wouldn't have thought it would go that way. You showed pictures of we picked him. We totally certified him. But if you look at the 2 guys, it's like one's a pretty boy and one's got a fucking rock head. You know what I mean? It's like you would not think that the I don't know. I mean, I kind of, when I saw them in the octagon together, I was like, I don't know, man. This kid looks like he's durable and damageable. You know what I mean? And
especially when Senpai Splash Daddy Master Shogun is in his corner.
Yeah.
Shogun was in his corner?
No. The guy Sentai Splash Daddy Master. You know what I'm talking about? The guy from the Goat Shed.
Oh. Gotcha.
Yair Rodriguez, Brian Ortega. So I fell asleep during this fight, and I fell asleep during the main event, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. It was like 1 a.m, and I was doing the math. I was like, main card, 6 fights. Shit, if we have a lot of decisions, this is going to go till like 1 a.m. I forgot to even tell you guys at the start of the show, I was on a fast. So I started a multi-day fast. By Saturday night, I was on day 3. So, I'm low caloric. I got low caloric intake, 0 caloric intake, and I'm going through waves, right? Peaks of ketosis, all the ketones, and then, little crashes here and there. But I was no excuses, just sitting on the couch, kind of fucking miserable because I had lost so much money by that point. And I fell asleep. I don't even know what to say. I fell asleep.
You just didn't have any food in you.
I don't know what happened. I mean, I kind of know what happened, but Brian Ortega, I heard he rolled his ankle and then got his ass beat for 2 rounds and then got a choke. So
yeah, he got his ass beat in the first round.
I'm glad I was asleep because all the money I lost, I would have bet what I needed to bet to win it back on Yair Rodriguez because I was like, there's no way Brian Ortega coming off a fucking layoff is going to get one over on Yair, who's been in there with the fucking best of the best for so many times. This is going to be a walk in the park for Yair. I would have picked fucking Yair and bet $2,000 on Yair. And good thing I was asleep. That's all I'd say that.
Yeah, good thing you were asleep. I was super disappointed in the cowardice of Yair Rodriguez. Lack of heart. He didn't even really try to get up off his back. He was throwing elbows from his back, something we hate to see. We want to see guys get up right away, like Felipe Dos Santos. Yeah, tough look for Yair. Really good look for Brian Ortega, but at the same time, it's like not really. It was kind of just Yair Rodriguez versus Frankie Edgar too. How Yair kind of had some moments early and then just kind of got beaten down by a better grappler. Dan, did you get to watch any of these fucking fights this past weekend?
Yeah. These last 2 are I vaguely remember them. I had a fun Saturday.
You were just blacked out.
Say what?
I said you watched them. You just have some holes in your night.
Yeah, exactly. So Ortega rolls his ankle, right? Jumping up and down in the beginning, his little Muay Thai shuffle thing, warm up, rolls his ankle, proceeds to get beat down. But I think it was the second round where the momentum shifted right at the end of the second round going into the third. And then once it was given up, it wasn't going back. It was just one-way traffic. He just wrestled the hell out of him, got into these super dominant positions and, got the submission from there. But what does that say about Ortega? Is he a contender now? I think I need one more fight out of Ortega. I need one more. He's had the privilege of like floating around the top 5 and barely fighting and losing a lot of these fights. The one thing we kind of missed was that his last time that he came back from a long layoff, I think that was shaved head Ortega. He did very well. So maybe this is a guy who needs big time layoffs. Doesn't say much about his championship makeup, but as far as just fights and betting money lines or whatever, something to keep in mind for the next layoff.
Yeah, I mean, he still gets his shit kicked in by, Volk, Holloway, Deporia.
Okay, those are like 3 champions.
Maybe Calvin Kattar.
All-timers. No, not Calvin Kattar.
Calvin Kattar might put a fucking
dwarf Deporia in there for some reason. I feel like he would feel a lot taller than Deporia. I think
he would be.
Yeah. I think so.
Which, like, if you're punching up like that and like having to manhandle, like if he's like, for example, like if he can sap Toporia's energy, he could do what he did to Yair.
He could take an ass kicking. You can't.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Deporia might fucking land on him, and it could be like the Emmett fight where he's just still there.
Yeah.
And still there, Brian Ortega. If you're tired and he's bigger than you, and it's the fifth round, he could squeeze something out.
And he was much bigger than Yair.
I agree with you. I don't want to see it yet, though. I need at least one more fucking fight, dude. Like, put him in there against Movsar Evloev.
Perfect. I would love to see that.
Contender fight or just a match?
And I loved what Topuria said about Movsar Evloev. He said, they were like, what about him? He's undefeated. It would be a great fight. He goes, it would be a great fight. 2 undefeated guys. I agree with you. And I think that fight will happen, but he just needs to finish someone. He's like, he's got all these wins. That's fine. He's like, he has 0 finishes, 0 in the UFC.
And then I think Evloev was like, I'll decision you too.
Yeah.
But it's like, dude, you're winning some of them by split decisions. That means every judge didn't even think you won. So, it's like if it's a split decision, you're not undefeated, in my opinion. Like
we just talk shit about the judges and the corruption, so this could be a case of that. We don't know.
Well, that's why you need finishes. That's why you need finishes, because if you're just a decision machine, your whole career is based on the opinion of the government.
Right.
And it's like if your whole career is based on the opinion of the government, you're just a government lackey, basically a communist. What's the word?
Shill.
No, like for the in the Gulag Archipelago, what were they called? Anyway, history talk another time. We'll save that for the Patreon. But my point is, Movsar Evloev needs to finish someone, or else he's a communist. And you gotta go out there. If you want to be American, Movsar, you gotta go out there and take what's yours. You don't wait around. Oh, judge, can I have the victory, please? Thank you, and some bread. Thank you. No, you don't take the victory like it's a bread line. You go out there and take it from your opponent. You take everything from him. You leave him so that he cannot even fight as good if he has to face you in a rematch. You leave him so that he's a reduced version of himself the next time he has to fight you because of what you did to him. So you have to do. Ilya Topuria did to Volkanovski. That's what Ilya Topuria did to Volkanovski. So what say you there? That's what the guy who beat the guy in your division who they call the greatest of all time did to the guy they call the greatest of all time. And then you want to fight him? Earn it. Prove it. Do what he does. Do what you seemingly can't do. Show us something that we haven't seen. Because it's my opinion that matters, Movsar. And only mine. And until I grant you the title fight, you will not get it. And if you don't believe me, well, then you must not know a lot about magic, because I've done a very sophisticated conjoining hex spell on the 2 of us. We're separately bound now, Movsar. And until I decide you can get the title shot, it will not happen. I promise you. So, sorry, Movsar. Go out there, get a finish. Finish Brian Ortega. That would delight me.
And then another fight.
Alex, you're the only one who saw this. So what's going on, man? What happened? So here, let me tell you this real quick before you start.
Okay.
While the weigh-ins were happening, I'm like looking at Raw Dog in Moreno's face, and I'm like, Raw Dog's a little bit pissed off that he's got all these rematches, and he's the little kicked puppy right now. But then he kind of went, nah, man, I'm just kidding. He did a signal. Nah, man. It's like, yo, Nate Diaz don't do that shit. Nate Diaz never does that shit. Don't do that shit. Don't break NBC, never break character. So I don't want to see that ever again, Raw Dog. You got to be the raw dog, the raw alpha dog. You know what I mean? You got to be the raw big dog. Don't be the raw puppy. You know what I mean? You just fucking mean mug these guys. Stay in it. Push them a little bit. You're a fucking gangster. You've been with this shit. You're not who they think you are. You play nice. But you've done that enough. You don't need to play nice anymore. Playing nice is not going to get you anywhere. Ask Nate Diaz. Every time you say fuck you, they just come back with more and more money. So Simon Raw Dog says fuck you and doesn't say, nah, I'm just playing afterwards. You know what I mean? So, but I see that. And that was my first hint to be like, man, I should be certified Brandon Moreno. But not only do I obviously want Raw Dog to win because I love him and I hate Brandon Moreno, and I have now decided I hate Moreno worse than Robert Whittaker.
That's big news.
And for all the same reasons. Though.
Big news.
Pretty much Tweedledee and Tweedledum. They're both nerds. They're both.
What do you think about Demetrius Johnson then?
Only like him because he's American. To be honest, I got to root for him. He's the greatest of all time. I need him to be able to say to like when I argue with Russians or Brazilians, I got to say, well, we got Demetrius Johnson. I need him in my. I can't ever disrespect him. He's. I love him.
Don't bring up little guy.
He's not a nerd though in the same way. Like he's not a nerd in the same way that Moreno is a nerd. Like Demetrius Johnson would not buy little figurines. Correct me if I'm wrong, Demetrius. But you buy little toys like that for your kids. You're not out here with little figurines. He's a gamer. Like he plays games. Rob Whittaker like plays like games in a different kind of way. Like, you know what I mean?
Rob Whittaker, the type of guy to obey the traffic laws in GTA.
No, yeah. Remember what he said about Fallout? And I'm like, he said he picks people's pockets and then like, or he like does something. He's like, I buy a good off of a person. I buy one of his wares, and then I pick his pocket and take the money back. He's like, I'm a bit of a devil in the game. Like Rob, in that game, I killed and ate my own son. Like you're nothing, you know. Like you can do a lot in that game, and you're not really scratching the surface. He was like, I'm pretty evil. I was like, you don't know what evil is, Rob. You know, let me take you into let me load a couple saves up for you. Hold on, I got this one save I want to show you. He's a cannibal. All right. So.
But anyway, I need to say one more thing. Yair Rodriguez might be the dumbest.
Dan, my son was the head of a dangerous laboratory. It had to be done. Move on. Sorry.
Yair Rodriguez is dumb and a coward and shouldn't even be in the question for a title shot within the next 5 years. He needs to do a lot.
Oh, that's your takeaway?
That's your takeaway?
I didn't even see the drop, sadly, but yes, that is my takeaway.
Wait, so you don't think Moreno should be able to be in a title shot in 5 years?
No, Rodriguez.
Rodriguez.
Okay, you're Rodriguez. We're still talking about that? I thought we were talking about Raw Dog. Okay.
I kind of wanted to put a bow. I wanted to put a bow on the whole Rodriguez thing. I feel like I didn't call him enough of an idiot. Like he is so dumb. You see the guy roll his ankle before the fight. You don't throw a single kick at it.
He kicked his ankle. I didn't watch the fight, but I heard he kicked his ankle.
And you knock him down and you follow one of the best jiu-jitsu guys on the whole roster to the ground rather than like get up, let me knock you down again so the ref might want to step in or something. Like just dumb IQ, bad fighting.
Rodriguez. Hey, yeah, that was a good win against Frankie Edgar back in the day.
I heard. Wait, tell me this. I heard Mark Goddard like woke scolded or chastised or sort of like school marmed. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. I heard he school marmed Brian Ortega after the fight.
Yeah, he held the submission a little long.
But wait, did he school marm him?
What's school marm?
You better not do that.
Yes.
Yo, Mark Goddard, you're a certified nerd. I can't stand Mark Goddard, dude.
Yeah, he's the worst. He's the worst. He
came out. You're school marming people.
He was coming at the Guru pretty hard recently too.
All he does is make powerful enemies. It seems because going after the Guru, it's like what are you gonna do? You're gonna make more. Who are you gonna go after next? Who's a popular person? I don't even know anymore.
Jesse on Fire.
No, I fuck Jesse on Fire. Are you kidding me? You like Jesse on Fire?
He's a powerful man.
Two thumbs way down to Jesse on Fire, the guys.
Who's Jesse on Fire?
Way down.
He's a powerful man.
Who's Jesse on Fire?
Hey, Alex. Good. That's what everybody should say, and they should leave it at that. Let's move on.
His next enemy is going to be Big Mike, Logan Paul, Nina Drama.
I'm saying who's a likable person that everybody.
Nina Drama.
No, I can't. Comments. Oh my goodness.
Everybody loves Nina Drama.
Everybody who's a universally loved person in America right now. It's kind of actually an interesting challenge to think about. Shaq for sure. Shaq. Okay. So this is like Mark Goddard picking a fight with MMA Guru at this level of his at this time stamp of his power. It's like picking a fight with Shaq. That's what I was trying to say. And Mark Goddard picking a fight with Brian Ortega. It's like Brian Ortega said, he's like, I can barely hear, and it was loud, and I was locked in to the moment, and it's a fight. Like, chill. But it's like Mark Goddard's out here. If you're schoolmarming a fighter after that, and they already think about this, right, guys? If they're already so locked into the moment that they didn't hear you or feel you or whatever, right? And their adrenaline's going and they were in a literal fight to the death, they come out of it and you're in their face going like this. Instead of just waiting a fucking beat, dude. Waiting until you can talk to him in the back. Hey, by the way, I'm going to be having to talk to you about that. That was too long, man. But it's already over at this point. You don't need to do it publicly in the.
Mark's all about his image, Luke.
He's all about his fucking image. He's all about making sure it's seen for the world to see. He wants to be in charge in there. I'm the one in charge in here. It's like, dude, you're a what's the word I'm looking for?
A lackey.
He's a camera bug. He just wants to be on camera. He wants to be famous, but he wants to be a little famous. You know what I mean? He wants to be just famous enough to get 46-year-old ladies at the bar to talk to him in fucking London or wherever the hell he lives. But it's like, what I'm trying to say is, you don't get in a fighter's face immediately after that, even if no matter what, you don't escalate a situation like that. You've already created the separation. The fight is over. Everything's over. Now you're escalating. Dude, there's something called mob mentality, the Gestalt principle, right? You have that means that people will do things in a situation where there's like a riot or a crowd doing stuff. You'll do stuff that's outside of your character, right? So apply that same kind of thing. Certainly he's in a mob because there's a bunch of people all around him, but apply that to actually being in a fight and you're in this mode and you're locked in. And so much so, provably so, that you didn't let go of the choke. And afterwards you tell everybody, yeah, like I was fucking, first of all, my eardrums are all fucked up. I get hit in them every single day. And then the crowd's loud. And then, I'm trying to finish this fucking fight. And it's like, yeah, I didn't fucking know. Like, that makes all the sense in the world, Brian. You know what doesn't make sense? Right afterwards, after the situation has been resolved, and I didn't see it, by the way. I didn't see anything that happened. I fell asleep. So let me just say this. I'm going off of what I heard. If somebody goes and gets in somebody's face like that, there's a way to deliver information. There's a way to separate combatants. There's a way to make sure everybody's safe. There's also a way to communicate to somebody that what they did was incorrect. It's not that necessary to do it right there in the moment immediately. And what he actually did was open the door for Brian to make a further mistake. It's kind of like if you're a cop and you know how to kind of like provoke a drunk guy enough to get him to do something so you can fucking do what you want to do. You know what I mean? I'm not saying Mark Goddard was doing that, but it was like he may have unknowingly opened a door for Brian Ortega to accidentally lose his fucking license to compete. Because if you're choking a guy out and then some other big dude's in your face, going like this, you might just fucking shove him. You know what I mean? Just because of like, it's your natural reaction and you're a fucking trained fighter and you're in a fight and all these things are happening at once. You might just shove him, you know what I mean? Or punch him or something. You don't know. But if that happened.
I mean, a blessing if that would have happened.
That would be great. But if that were to happen, you lose your license. You don't get to compete anymore. You get fined. You get suspended. All these chaotic things could happen to Brian Ortega.
That's two birds, one stone, if you ask me.
It could easily be averted by if the adult in the room, Mark Goddard, the sober person who's not involved in a fight in a room, just controlled his ego, controlled his emotions, controlled his delivery, and didn't get in somebody's face for any reason at any point. How about that? Why is he even allowed to put his hands on people besides to separate the fight? He's always touching people here and there during the fight too, like pushing people into corners. If Jeremy Stevens pushing Jakar close can hurt him, then if you're not expecting a ref to just shove you when he's like standing guys up, he's like, all right, stand up. All right. He does that little thing. You could end up being like, man, you just fucked up my neck. Like I'm sitting here in my fighting stance. I'm like looking at him, not you. I didn't expect you to fucking push me like that. These refs are too handsy.
My stance.
They're too discretionary. They're too handsy. I can't stand half of them. We need a full-blown draining of the swamp. We need to have a privatized system where the refs and judges are audited and paid 3 times at least, if not 10 times what they're paid now, and create a competitive marketplace for this job market. Because right now there's no competitive marketplace. There's no competitive marketplace where you're attracting the best talent to work in these positions. We get the worst of the worst. We get the fucking people who would otherwise be working at Burger King or for the TSA, for example. You know what I mean?
And that's our new segment, Lukey's 15 minutes on 2 fights he's never fucking watched.
Yeah, and I like people, getting in their face in the workforce. I like a little fire in the belly. I don't mind it at all. I think, what this professional fighter's going to get all butthurt because another grown man didn't even touch him but got in his face a little? Please Please, where I come from, that's a hard day's work. You tell people how you feel a little bit, and the next thing you know, what they're filing complaints now, and they're talking to the media and their little post fight press conference. Please, he had something to say, and he said it. You don't like the tone? Get over it, loser. I
would love to see you go into your job and push somebody.
Listen, there was no push. Okay, you got his face a little bit. He yelled a little bit.
Dan's the ref. He can push. So in my head, I didn't see what happened. I just heard about this in the post-fight press conference or whatever. In my head, what happened is like Mark Goddard ran up and like fucking was like, "What are you thinking?" And like grabbed him and was like really aggressive. So I might have imagined
he was trying to get Ortega off of him a little aggressively because Yair's tapping because he's getting choked out and Ortega's just holding it. So he was like, "Hey, stop!"
But
and
it's
like,
not the tap is not. The tap is not the fighter's instruction to stop fighting. The ref stopping it. The ref says, "Follow my instructions. Obey my commands at all times." And then what does he say? When I say stop, you stop. When I say stop, not when the fighter says stop. When I say stop, that's very important language. And it's you're supposed to fight until the ref stops you. So why is it okay for a guy to bounce a guy's head off the fucking ground 4 or 5 times while Chris Taglioni sloths over to the fucking area to stop the fight? But Brian Ortega holding a choke is the worst thing in the world. Like, I think all chokes should be held to the bitter end.
Yeah, they should all go to.
If you're tapping for a choke, you are more cowardly than most hobbyists who do jiu-jitsu. I mean, like guys who do jiu-jitsu for a hobby, get choked out all the time in their own gyms, like just doing it for fun, and you are doing it on the world stage for a championship belt or otherwise. Holly, and I can say this because there's plenty of examples of fighters who don't tap to that shit, and in those moments, like Holly Holm, and that was one of forever etched in my mind. Her fucking going out punching like this while getting choked. I mean, like her instinct was never to tap. Even when she was fucking seeing where Harry Potter went after Dumbledore killed him in the fucking, platform 9 3/4 where everything's all white. Even when she's seeing that, she's seeing that and she's fuck that. You know what I mean? So, shout out to Holly Holm, nice lady. And by the way,
yeah, but ever since she got divorced, she's been a little bit of a horcrux.
That's messed up, man. I gotta find it. That's fucked up.
On the YouTube, bro. Come on.
It's a Harry Potter joke.
Spoiler alert, I'm picking Holly Holm against Kayla Harrison. Huge underdog. And guess what? You know when else she was a huge underdog? Against another flash in the pan named Ronda Rousey.
Judoka, too.
Yeah, another flash in the pan judoka. That would have been better if I had slipped that in, Alex. Great joke at it. But yeah, dude, it's like, I think Kayla Harrison misses weight. I think Kayla Harrison loses, gets domed up. Come on, Holly. You got one more head kick for us. You got one more scalp job for us. This will be the most satisfying one yet. Holly Holm is as likable as Kayla is unlikable. Would you agree?
Yeah, I hate Kayla Harrison. I hate that.
I mean, that's a strong word.
Well, my girlfriend's brother-in-law is a big judo guy, and the night that Kayla Harrison got her ass kicked by Pacheco, he was just like glazing. He was doing tricks on it, dude. He was like, "Oh, she's so tough. She could probably beat up some guys too." I'm like, "Yeah, right. Get the fuck out of here." And then she gets.
I honestly don't even know who those people are.
And then she got pieced up by Pacheco.
Yeah, no, she did.
And that brings me to another fucking loser girl fighter, Clarissa Shields. You suck. Kelsey beat your ass.
I bet on Kelsey, dude, and I thought I was gonna win. Dude. I bet on Kelsey DeSantis. And honestly, when I tuned in, Kelsey DeSantis was getting the shit kicked out of her. So I'm like, oh, that was dumb of me, very dumb of me. And then, but then I see how Clarissa Shields has absolutely no ground game. Like, doesn't even try to get up off her back against a 40-year-old lady who barely fights. It's like, this is crazy, So, if Kelsey DeSantis had the energy in the third round to just like she was in full mount for the whole half the round. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I want to love Clarissa Shields. I really want to love her, but sadly, she's
bad.
No, actually, she doesn't really do anything wrong, to be honest. But she's not good. Like she's a gigantic.
But she's another one of these girls who are like
the gigantic favorite And
she's another one of these women fighters who are like, I think I do pretty well with some of the guys. And it's like, nah, dog. Just, you don't even have to say that. Why even say it? Why even say it? It's not going to happen, you know?
well, I think women can do anything men can do.
Whatever. This isn't the Daily Wire, okay? I'm not gonna get into all the.
That's what I'm trying to say, Alex. That's what I'm trying to, you're kind of getting a little bit too Daily Wire. I'm like, look, all right, like, come on, like, we don't. I think the women are great, and I think
that is why I hate her, because all of a sudden she thinks that now she can beat up guys, and that is not even right. That's a bad Shapiro, but he just talks really quick.
I was like, oh, pretty good. Then it got really bad. But listen, Erin Blanchfield, hero. That's all I gotta say.
Of course,
Mackenzie Dern, from
Hero.
zero to hero. From zero to hero. She went from zero to hero. She's great. She went from hero to zero to hero.
Things move fast in the ladies divisions. But anyway, we should get on to the main event.
We gotta get on to the event.
Brandon Royval fought very well. He was dealing with a leg injury early in the fight, was shaking it out the entire time. Brandon Moreno could not have won that fight with little baby leg kicks. That's all he was really doing. Dude, he looked like a little baby tiny Yoel Romero out there. He was literally just sitting there shelled up the entire time while Brandon Royval just walked up and like threw 6 punch combinations through the guard, and Brandon Moreno throws one big punch and then a big leg kick. And Royval's like, all right, yeah, that kind of hurt, but I did just hit you with 6 punches. Yeah. Brandon Royval came away with it. I thought that was the right decision, especially after all of the decisions earlier in the night. Dan,
damage, not grappling.
Oh, wait, I was the only one to watch this one, right?
The main event?
Right. Yeah.
So matched out by this point.
Brandon Moreno, he got a lot of warnings because he was holding Royval up against the cage, and Herb Dean was on him quick because Brandon Moreno was in there literally just holding. He wasn't going for takedowns. He wasn't trying to advance any positions. He was literally just holding Royval up against the fence. He wasn't throwing kicks, wasn't throwing knees, started doing foot stomps at the end when Herb Dean started getting on his ass. And Herb's like, dude, that doesn't do dick. Like, I don't care. Go for something or I'm separating you guys. Moreno showed so little heart. Like he did not show the will to win. Royval wanted to win. He went out there like a bat out of hell in the 5th round, and Moreno was just stuck in the mud, dude. It was a lot of movement, a lot of dancing around the cage, sitting there shelled up like Yoel Romero, and not a lot of activity whatsoever.
Sounds like a good fight. Glad to see Brandon Moreno lose. Used to like him, but the more I see of him trying to be a politician, trying to be a Mr. Nice Guy, make everybody like me, super annoying, super lame, and sick of it, tired of it, all done.
Yeah, and
it is what it is, and I can't change the past. And
the other fights were super good. PFL literally just showcased how terrible their product was, except for one guy. They had one guy win out of the entire night. The Renan Fiera, easiest pick.
That's disrespectful to even set up that fight. I mean, Ryan Bader is over 40. Like, this is
and this guy is a giant, man. Like, Renan Fiera has the biggest,
Why
widest.
wasn't that minus 10,000 to fucking plus 6,000? Like,
Bro, he would have fought Francis Ngannou.
Huh?
He would have fought Francis Ngannou.
Yeah, if he won that fight, he would have had to fight Francis. Dude, and that was awesome. Francis Ngannou was there, and him and John Jones were talking shit to each other the whole time. John Jones was like, honestly, I see 3 fights for the rest of my career. Like, I have Stipe, I have Tom Aspinall, and then I have Francis, and that's really all I want with the rest of my career. Then I'm done. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen. And Sean McCorkle, the guy who used to fight in the UFC, won the PFL that one year. I think that's his name. He was like, well, we're all just wondering, like, what's the one thing standing in the way? Because the PFL wants this, we want this, Francis Ngannou wants this, you want this. And the big mystery is who is in the way of making this fight happen. It's like, the UFC ain't working with you, PFL. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Like, you guys, because you signed Francis instead of letting him stay in the UFC. How about that? I'll switch the tables on you. He was in the UFC. You took him away. So you actually are the problem, PFL.
But that was a great card. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I enjoyed it much more than the UFC card. I do wish some of the judges that were on that Mexico card were on that PFL card, because if Impa Casagne could have got that dub at the end, it would have made me a lot of money. And I thought he won that fight. Johnny Albin was just kind of holding as well. But yeah, fun card. for the PFL, lackluster card for the UFC. PFL wins this weekend.
We're dividing the videos next week. I'm not doing it tonight. Let's go. We're just going right into the main card. We're dividing it next week. Guys, the trilogy starts next week. Prepare yourselves. Because next week we're being serious. 3 episodes. Okay. Let's get into it. It's gonna be a UFC Vegas night, guys. 87, I believe. UFC Vegas 87. That will check out if you cross-reference that. UFC Vegas 87. Rozenstruik versus Gaziev. Rozenstruik, I thought you died. Where you been all my life? Where you been, Rozenstruik? I haven't seen him in a hot minute. Feels like a pandemic relic at this point. Don't even know when the last time he fights. Got to look at his topology. Shamil Gaziev. Okay, let's get into this, guys. Okay. We got a whole main card to break down for you guys here. Tons of good fights on the prelims, including our boy, Eric Anders, who was on this very show. He fights on the prelims, so join the Patreon to get that episode, and we'll give you all the picks for the prelims fights. Right now, we're just doing main card. UFC Mexico feels like drinking the water in Mexico and getting Montezuma's revenge. That's how it feels like for me. I'm done. I'm flushing that toilet. It's gone. I did a fast. I'm fasted. I'm awakened. I'm keto. All the things, right? So it's the Lenten season. I'm in line with my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I did a fast. I did a therapeutic fast. So everything's going good. I got crystals now. Look, check this out. I got a crystal. This is amethyst. So I'm going to keep it right here. Throughout the night, you may see me put my hand on it. That's going to charge. That's going to charge me and the amethyst. It's going to align all chakras, energies, frequencies. It's very sophisticated stuff, guys, but really just keep it simple and touch the rock. That's all you got to do, and then you get good ideas. So I'm going to be touching the amethyst all throughout the night. It's going to give me enlightenment. It's going to give me the keys to victory. Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Shamil Gaziev. Dan, this fight is a relative pick'em. Both guys about 35 years old. Both guys tipping the limit of the 265-pound division. Both guys above 6 foot. Shamil actually going to be taller than the usually taller Jairzinho, right? So equal reach advantage. But for the most part, you're going to notice a little bit more weight on the Rozenstruik side. You're going to notice a little bit more height on the Gaziev side. All in all, is just probably going to make for a relatively similar physical matchup, similar age, similar reach, both well prepared. Gaziev is undefeated. He just finished Martin Boudet in his last fight 2 months ago by knockout. That was a standing TKO. You'll remember that one. Boudet looked like he was just there to fucking be a punching bag. And Jairzinho is coming off a submission loss to Jalson Almeida 9 months ago. Before that, he knocked out Chris Daukaus a year and 2 months ago. And, he's got losses to Blades, Volkov. Overall, unimpressive wins in the heavyweight division for Biggie Boy. Very unimpressive wins. Impressive pedigree of his losses in terms of the guys he's lost to. You got Blades, Gane, Ngannou, Almeida, future champs, past champs, and contenders, right? But the guys he's managed to beat, besides that one win over Alistair Overeem, right? Besides that one win, I guess you could say the Junior Dos Santos win, but he was kind of over the hill by then. And so was Overeem. I mean, Arlovsky, Overeem, Dos Santos, all of those guys that he beat were very much past their prime by the time he got to them. And then Daukaus is obviously, he knocked him out in 23 seconds. Daukaus is not a UFC caliber fighter. So here we go. We got Gaziev versus Rozenstruik. I'm going to let you guys go.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Gaziev on this one. I know that he's rather untested in the UFC, but I just don't really like Jairzinho Rozenstruik's game. I've tried to give him the benefit of the doubt so many times. He's coming out of a good camp. He fights well against bad fighters or aging fighters, but he just can't seem to get it done against the higher caliber, higher echelon of fighters in the division. I mean, he does have good wins. I'd imagine Shamil has a lot more to his game, though. Jairzinho Rozenstruik is very one-dimensional. If this thing stays standing, it's anyone's game. I feel like if Shamil mixes some takedowns in, he'll easily get the victory. But, you leave it standing in this division, anything can happen. But I'm going to go with Shamil on this one. Dan, what do you think?
I like Shamil as well. I like fading Rozenstruik against anyone under the age of 47. Rozenstruk's game is just unbearable to watch, even as a fan. So I'll be happy when this one is done and over with, and I've had the money in my pocket. Just very tentative with the strikes. Does not move forward nearly enough. Seems to just be accepting of taking on other people's damage and maybe countering. Maybe I'll counter. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just keep taking these punches. I expect nothing less from the Shamil. And if it goes to the ground, forget about it. Rozenstruik has no answer whatsoever. So, yeah, and then, let's not forget this was supposed to be a Saudi Arabia card. So, we definitely have some clear A sides on this. Going to go with Shamil money line.
Love it. I'll put my life savings on Shamil. Okay, so Triple B certified Shamil. Next, we got Vitor Petrino versus Tyson Pedro. 26-year-old Vitor Petrino, 32-year-old Tyson Pedro. 6 years separates them. Light heavyweight matchup, equal height and reach, slight edge over there in that department to Mr. Pedro. And I say Mr., but I have absolutely no respect for this man. I say that I hate Robert Whittaker. Who I truly hate from Australia is this guy, Tyson Pedro. Can't stand him. But I really, really, really hate most of all that he isn't able to narrow this line for me to bet Vitor Petrino against him. I mean, he is coming off a knockout win. You would think that we would get, a relative pick 'em here, but no, it's plus 245 Tyson Pedro, minus 305 Vitor Petrino. I think that's the right way. I think this is a domination. Vitor Petrino, possibly by submission, possibly by ground and pound, but I think Vitor gets this fight going wherever he wants it to. And shame on you, Tyson Pedro.
Yeah, couldn't agree
Hot
more.
off the press 4 hours ago, looking shredded.
Is that Petrino?
Wow, the glare is killing me. The glare is killing me, folks.
Hold it back a beat. Hold it back a little bit. Oh, that makes it worse. Hold it closer. Yeah, perfect.
Woo!
Beefcake.
He's
RTK. He's ready to
gonna
go.
destroy cumbersome Tyson Pedro coming in there with his big ass and his big ass thighs. He's gonna be like having trouble walking. His hips are gonna be like, oh, he waddles. He walks like Rikishi.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, I'm going with Petrino. This is one of the easiest picks on the card.
Man.
Vitor Petrino by devastating knockout.
Knockout, huh?
Yeah, devastating.
Okay.
I mean, he has like 7 knockouts in his career and only 1 submission. I don't know who you're getting him confused with, but I'm going knockout on this one.
I think it's Gaziev too, by the way, guys. Daniel Cormier says Gaziev.
Gaziev.
I like Gaziev. Gaziev is pretty good. All right, so Triple B certified Petrino, Triple B certified Gaziev, both favorites, co-main and main. Triple B certified. Alex Perez versus Muhammad Makayev. Easiest pick of my life, Muhammad Makayev, and no doubt about it. I'm moving on from that. What do you guys think?
Is this Turbo?
This is Turbo, baby. Alex Turbo Perez. It says nickname not available, but we all know this is Alex Turbo Perez.
No, it's the other Alex Perez. That's the Turbo.
It's Turtle Perez. This is Turtle. Alex Turtle Perez. All right, well, this Alex Perez has a first-round submission loss to Pantoja back in 2022, and we're in the year 2024 now, if you guys haven't checked. So that fight's a while ago. Before that, he got choked out in the first round by Davidson Figueiredo. So he's like, hey, let me go in here and get choked out by both UFC champions, right? And then he did, and that was his goal, and he achieved it. But the reality is, he goes Matt, I don't know this guy's story, right? I don't know this guy's story, but I'm telling you guys what I'm seeing on Tapology in terms of it's very interesting. After he got submitted in 2020, November of 2020 by Davidson Figueiredo, a fight card which he headlined? No,
Perez?
Alex Perez. The other Alex Perez fought. Wait a minute. No, this Alex Perez. This is the Alex Perez who fought against Davidson Figueiredo and got submitted in the first round with a guillotine for the championship during the pandemic in a fight that was like weirdly made.
Yes.
Dude, whoa. Okay, this is like blowing my mind. I know exactly who this guy is. Alex Perez. Okay, I know exactly who he is. This guy is pretty much Ray Berg in different clothes. This is Ray Berg's alter ego in the sense that he pulls out of everything. He's a choke artist. He's been given crazy opportunities for no reason and doesn't even like rise to the occasion at all. Doesn't even like tuck his shirt in for work. Doesn't even like put a tie on, like nothing, right? Like crazy lack of awareness. Alex Perez has zero self-awareness. He gets choked out in his championship fight. Booked fight against Matt Schnell gets canceled. Booked fight against Askar Askarov gets canceled. Try to do Matt Schnell 3 times. Doesn't work out. Then Askar Askarov, Pantoja beats him in the first round just the same way that Figueiredo did. Try to schedule him against Albazi. Try to schedule him against Kai Kara France. Try to schedule him against Manel Kape. So, it's been since 2020, almost 2021, November of 2020, he's fought twice in 4 years. He must be hurting for money because they offered him a grappling match against Roman Bravo Young, a guy who you'll know, Alex, Penn State kid, right?
Yeah.
Penn State kid,
Yep.
travels out to Turkey every once in a while. Yep. So it's like, that's just a little quick, hey, I need money, kind of thing, I think, right? Or maybe it's hey, I haven't fought in fucking forever. Let me get in here and do something just to kind of shake the nerves off, maybe like a little test run kind of thing. But Muhammad Mokaev has been active. He's a killer. Only knock on him is that he sometimes fights to the level of his opponent, gives up minutes in situations, gives up rounds in situations, gives up 2 rounds in some situations, like his last fight with Tim Elliott. And I think the fight before that with Fiallo, he was possibly down a little bit. I mean, he almost got his knee. He did get his knee ripped apart in that fight. And then, the Charles Johnson fight, a bunch of decisions. So point is, Mokaev is as good as Topuria and fights just like Topuria. And these guys will do that. I think this fight will be closer than it needs to be, but overall, I think Mokaev destroys Perez. If you put the best Mokaev against the best Perez, I think it's a fucking slaughter. So Mokaev is going to destroy Alex Perez. Simple as that.
Me next. Luke is wrong. This fight started off at minus 270 for Mokaev. It's at minus 310 now. To me, that's a crazy line. That's a line that says something's up. This guy's been living off of being at minimum a minus 500 in all his fights. And now against Alex Perez, he's a minus 270. Something's up here. I was just fooled by Yair Rodriguez versus Brian Ortega. I was just fooled by Brandon Moreno and Brandon Royval. Those were locks to me. This, in my mind, is a lock, but the line is telling me something different. Something's fishy about this one. I'm going with Alex Perez. It's called intuition, folks. It's called intuition.
Man, every time I try to triple certify Muhammad Mokaev, I don't think we ever have, because I think one of you always is picking against him.
I definitely took Tim Elliott in the last fight. I know for sure I did.
Me too.
But I'm taking Mokaev in this one. And Dan's an idiot, and we love him.
Damn
but
fools! I'm out of here.
but he's
I
a
am
damn
so
idiot.
fucking done doing podcasts.
No.
In this episode, dude.
I don't give a fuck.
But yeah, I'm going with Mokaev, and I'm going by first round submission for Mokaev. Alex Perez, of his 7 career losses, 5 of them are by submission, and 4 of which came in the first round. The 5th one of those came in the second round. So
I'm
he's
gonna
a quick tapper, huh?
Sorry, I keep interrupting. Sorry, audience.
He's a quick tapper. I feel like Mokaev is not the guy you want to be in that position with. He's going to put him in more danger than Alexander Pantoja did. He's going to be able to get the same positions as Pantoja. He's going to be able to get the same positions as Figueiredo. He's going to be able to get the same positions as Joseph Benavidez. I'm definitely rolling with Mokaev on this one, and it's first or second round finish. I think he finally gets that finish for us. Well, I guess he got to finish his last fight, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm going to trust that the Sheiks are going to drop a big bag on him.
No, that means that it's going to be a unanimous decision, Luke. That was Charles Johnson they did that with. That was the only one he didn't finish.
He's getting better each time. So for Mokaev, it's about this, right? 2 champions submitted this guy in the first round. If I submit him in first round, then I cement myself as akin to these champions, brother. So that's how he thinks. That's what he's going to do. All
like
right.
that.
So it's interesting, right? Because I think Australia to the UAE is a lot easier of a flight than it is to the States, right? So now you got Steve Erceg coming in from Australia to fight Matt Schnell. He's fighting in the past, coming from Australia. He's flying to the US and then having to live the same day over again or something. The only thing I like about this for Erceg is that he's 7 years younger. We just hear all these stats about 35-year-olds in the division, and Matt Schnell is 34. Steve Erceg only has one loss. Matt Schnell has a lot of losses. Matt Schnell is old. Erceg is young. There's just so many reasons to pick Erceg here, but I'm not going to. I'm picking Matt Danger Schnell formally, at least. I'm not saying I'm going to put him on every single parlay, but I'm going to pick him because I like the layover with the bad. I like the fact that he's not fighting in the UAE and is now fighting in the US. I think that'll fuck with him a little bit, and I think he's due. I think he's due for a loss, and I think Schnell has faced better guys than this, and I think, Schnell can get this done if you give him a chance. So I'm taking Matt Schnell. Call me crazy, but I don't even really think he's going to win. I just hope he wins, and something's telling me to do this, guys. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me, but I don't like Steve Erceg. I don't know why. I don't like him, and I don't know why. So I'm just going to avoid him at all costs. I'm going to avoid him.
Awesome. I'm going to go with Steve Erceg. I think that he's got a very dynamic game. He's good everywhere. He's good at striking. He's good on the ground. I don't think there's going to be really much areas that Matt Schnell is better than Steve Erceg in, besides maybe the wrestling department. But I think Steve Erceg's wrestling is formidable enough to stay off of his back, control the grappling exchanges when he go to the ground on his terms, and also be able to piece up Matt Schnell on the feet. Love Matt Schnell, one of my COVID darlings, but you look at some of these losses like Mateus Nicolau, Brandon Royval, and even in that Sumaderji fight, like I'm pretty sure he was losing quite a bit of that fight before he got the triangle choke off. What was the no contest for? Was that on his end or the other guy?
I'm switching to Steve Erceg. You guys are right.
Yeah, so he lost to a guy on steroids, and then he beat Tyson Nam split decision. Some people saw that for Tyson Nam. If you look at that, dude, he only has 2 wins, 3 wins in the UFC, 4 wins in the UFC. You have to go back a long time to find where he goes on a real run and puts some wins together. Other than that, it's Tyson Nam, Louis Schmolka, Sumaderji, and those aren't necessarily the top pickings around here. I'm going with Steve Erceg. Dan, what do you think?
What is Steve Erceg's nickname?
Astro Boy.
No, it's Starboy.
I feel like a national Larry Bozy bear.
Who made the song Starboy?
David Bowie.
The Weekend.
Oh.
When is this fight taking place?
This weekend.
The Weekend. Steve Erceg. It's divine. It's divine 9. It's going down. Calling it here. Are we? So we're Triple P certified now? The logic makes sense?
We'll Triple P certified.
All right.
If it loses, though, you guys have to apologize to me. How about that?
Okay.
I will apologize.
I will definitely put an apology bet on the line for that.
All right, sick. As long as I get the apology, I'll go with you.
Does it have to be sincere?
Yeah. Because I'm gonna go with you guys on this. We're gonna Trilby certify Erceg, but I don't want to blemish the Trilby certification record when I have this weird voice in my head telling me to pick Matt Schnell here. But I'll trust you guys over the voice. That's what my therapist says to do. Trust your friends, don't trust the voices. So, Umar Nurmagomedov, Bekzak Almakhan. Why are they doing this to me, right? Why are they doing this to me?
I heard a chat bot of sorts. A little bloop.
Oh no. That's just the Discord. Guys, join the Discord. It's description in the below. Listen, so Mateus Galora, this guy knocked him out 7 months ago. Jan Ferza. So listen, this guy's a Kazakhstani fighter being shipped in to lose against Umar Nurmagomedov. Why are they giving Umar Nurmagomedov a fucking debutant to fight as a -1,000 favorite when he's coming off a knockout of Tony Barcelos, a decision against Nate Maness, a submission against Brian Kelleher, a submission against Sergey Morozov. He's got 4 wins in the UFC, and they're feeding him this fucking Kazakhstani nobody with no wins on his record to speak of from anybody we know. So pretty crazy that he's 17-1 too. I mean, this guy's 17-1. Imagine he goes in there and fucking, beats Umar Nurmagomedov, right? I mean, we don't know him. He could be good, right? He could be fucking good. But yeah, everybody's thought is, some of these guys, the records seem pretty good, all of them. But I think it's like they're all just kind of competing against each other. They don't really have any diversity of opponents like from different regions. So I'm going with Umar, but holy shit, do I not want to bet this fight at -1,000? And I won't be. Nor will I be betting it any sort of way, because you never know with these, Father's Plan fighters. Are they going to go in there and just dominate, or are they going to go in there and do a weird safe decision dance? So you really don't ever know. So
Yeah. Are we going to get a Brian Kelleher type performance or a Nate Maness from Umar? I'm going with Umar personally. Cowardly behavior. These guys are pull-out merchants. He pulled out against Corey Sandhagen. Probably would have taken Corey Sandhagen in that one. That's a little bit of a step up in competition. But then again, the way, fuck that. I'm not bringing that fight down. Shut up, Alex. I'm going to go with Umar Nurmagomedov, but all my bets are going to be on Alamakan because I see no value in betting on a guy who's -1,000, but I see a lot of value in putting $50 on a guy who's +650 just to see, just to get the blood pumping,
Yeah, I mean, if it's a close fight.
So I forget what the exact line was, but if memory serves correct, Umar's original line was like sub -500. Like it was like a regular line. It was like he was like -250, I think. Now it's -1050. So like the value, if you listen to Billy Swift or whatever that guy's name is on Rogan, the value based on how much there's the differentiation from that original price point, if we're assuming that Vegas isn't crazy, is so much so on this other guy from freaking Kazakhstan, I think, 17-1. He's beating, as far as I could see the Tapology, he's beating guys with winning records, also coming from this hell-bent region of the world. Yeah, I think I'm going to take a shot on that guy. Yeah, it's so worth it. +650 for probably a killer. Okay, let me just admit I didn't watch the tape study on this guy, but this is the right pick.
And he's young, 18 fights, 26 years old with 18 fights on his record. Like it's a lot of experience pretty quick.
Okay, last fight of the main card. I'm going with Umar Nurmagomedov, but I agree with everything Dan says. Like from a strictly betting standpoint, from a strictly numbers standpoint, you find bets like these, you take them, and if you take them long enough, you'll be profitable in theory, because it's like Dan said, it's not supposed to be that line. They're wearing 4-ounce gloves. Like it's going to be competitive. Umar Nurmagomedov is not that good. No one is. No one's that good. How about that? No one. Okay, Raul Rosas Jr. versus Ricky Turquoise. Guys, again, it's like, okay, Ricky was there, ready to fight, and Raul Rosas fucking tucked a tail and ran. He shouldn't be the favorite anymore. He already admitted he wasn't even fit to make the walk and try to beat Pretty Ricky not 2 days ago. Now he's going to turn around and do it the very next weekend. Dirty poker all the way. I don't like it. You know what? I will switch to Pretty Ricky. How about that, Dan?
Woo, yes.
I'll switch to him. I've seen enough. I see your heart. But I will say this, guys. It's just because I want him to win, so I'm going to go with him. But I really do think Raul Rosas Jr. can submit him. I'm going to officially pick Raul Rosas Jr. I'm going to I'll say this. He's a bitch, but the reason I'm picking him is because he was a bitch before and he didn't fight when he knew he was going to lose. And now he's taking, he's shown us, I'm only going to fight if I know I can win. Cool. All right. Sick.
For some reason, I envision Raul Rosas Jr. like towering over Ricky Turquoise, but that's not going to be the point. In the cage, they are the same height, and Ricky Turquoise has the length advantage. He has the experience advantage, and he has the game advantage. He has the stylistic advantage on this. The only thing that can get in his way is if he starts rolling on his back and conceding bottom position like we see these grapplers do at times. Ricky Turquoise is a slick game. Raul Rosas Jr. has a little bit more of powerful game in terms of jiu-jitsu, and I think Ricky Turquoise has a little bit more skill in jiu-jitsu than Raul Rosas Jr., where he just muscles through a lot of things. I think Ricky Turquoise works on the technique and make sure it's perfect rather than just forcing things. I think Ricky Turquoise is going to win this fight. I thought he was going to win last week. Raul Rosas Jr. pulling out does give me a little cause to pause. He's looking for the perfect scenario, but Ricky Turquoise is going to win this one.
I definitely think Rosas is better at jiu-jitsu, but I'm going to go with Turquoise here. Turquoise, however you say his name, Tercios. It's going down. Like I said before, it's all about what you reveal in that moment. And hey, cat's out of the bag now. Going into a fight, you don't know. But in this kind of a circumstance, you see into that other person, and it goes both ways. He knows that he's been called out on the Bushido code. That means something, man, even to a youngster like Rosas. Tercios, Turquoise.
Dan, don't undermine my jiu-jitsu knowledge ever again. You know I'm the resident coral belt for the show, and I don't appreciate that whatsoever.
Well, I did it. So what are you going to do about it? Nothing.
I am putting you on double secret probation and suspending you from your black belt for 3 months. You'll get it back.
Full picks, top to bottom. I'm going with Gaziev, Petrino, McCabe, Ursay, Nurmagomedov, and Raul Rosas Jr. Alex, Dan, somebody.
Dan, can you go? I'm writing down the time.
No, I can't go. It's loading. Hold on.
All right, I'll go. All right.
No, I'm going.
Okay.
I got Shamil Gaziev, Vitor Petrino, Bobby Petrino's adopted Brazilian son. I'm going with Alex Perez. I'm going with Steve Urseg, Starboy. I'm going with Begzat Almakan. How about a little Ricky Tercios to round it out?
Okay, I'm reloaded. If you're rolling with me, you're going with Ricky Tercios, Umar Nurmagomedov, Steve Urseg, Mohammed Makhayev, Vitor Petrino, and Shamil Gaziev. That's it, and that's all, folks.
And Trophy certified picks: Gaziev, Petrino, and Urseg. 3 faves for you this week. Thanks for checking in. We'll see you guys next week. If you want to get the prelims picks, join the Patreon. If you want to hear more juicy gossip, join the Patreon. If you want to get the open bet sheet, join the Patreon. Thanks very much. We love you. And next week, trilogy time. So get ready, get prepared.